Owls upset. Call the meeting to pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to adopt the agenda, which we will focus on the budget, but not really vote on anything tonight.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the December regular meeting minutes. I'll make that motion that we accept those minutes. Second? No one's.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order because some are quick and some maybe have a little bit more under the president's report. So I'm gonna start with letter B. And that is that Dane Morton and Jim Niles will be here February to discuss their proposal for the town, which includes something to do with the library property. Potentially, they're gonna explain that, answer any questions. I did go and meet with them. I think that it'll be good for us to listen to their proposal and
This is about a trail.
it's about the extension of the trail along the Hudson River as a little walkway related to the larger, what do they call it? The master plan for the town. Any questions? So they'll be here next meeting. The training report is in front of you, the chart that I have to complete. It has to be submitted in the annual library report. There's some blank spaces, but you can still give me your certificates if you have them to be submitted. And now the clock resets. So now we have for 2026, the requirement of an hour's worth of sexual harassment training and 2 hours beyond that of some sort of training. I actually have found out and then filled in more of the information column for the JP Morgan training, the date and time. But
I'll give you the,
yeah, all you
paper
gotta do is
for
fill this
harassment.
in.
I'm sorry,
All you gotta, for this one,
for sexual.
you can fill this in and then I'll just put that on file.
Mhm.
And if you have the paper for sexual harassment, I'll put that in.
Good.
And Marion submits it in February, I think.
Yeah.
And Josh, you also said you had paperwork for these trainings, but I haven't gotten them yet. So once you give them to me, I will fill that in. And then we'll start over, like I said. Okay. If anybody needs blank self-assurance forms for trainings, I have a whole stack of them here to hand out. Should I hand out 2 each now, or we'll just, I'll hand them out later. Okay. All right. So back to, Marion and I had a Zoom meeting with Robert. Oops. Okay, when did we do this? January 13th. We met
No,
with,
that's today.
Today.
January 2nd was the meeting.
oh, January 2nd, sorry. Was the meeting, I gotta get my glasses on, and, we talked about many things. But we talked about the procedure going forward, to request, an increase in taxes for the library's budget. And there's many steps involved, but Robert does a lot of it, he does. So I'm just gonna read the notes that I took first, Marion, and then you can tell them about these resolutions and whatnot. So, at our last meeting for the budget, that was, just a committee meeting, we went over that there was we could ask for about a total of $8,489, which was it was a formula that Tammy used with the comptroller or something.
That's what this packet
Yep,
is.
yep.
That breaks it down how Tammy came up with
Yep.
that.
To, that would be the amount that would be added onto the budget. That is above the 2% tax levy cap, but that is legitimate and valid to do because we haven't asked for an increase in 5 years. Gosh, these things, after a while, I don't remember what, it was. We don't technically have to do an override, which is a resolution to have above the 2% tax levy. But if we do have that resolution, it saves us if there's any kind of computational error. If we don't pass it, then it goes back to last year's tax levy that we already knew that. It just goes back to the 190 with no increase. What we have here that Robert has provided us is a resolution to adopt the override, which again, we technically don't have to do that, but he thinks it's a safety measure. And that has to pass, the board by, 60%. And then voters by a simple majority. We're not voting on it tonight. We're just explaining it. That was. Is that this one?
Yeah, that's the top one. It's just a
top.
general override. You just said that's a
Okay,
safety net in case there's a miscomputation or anything. Not that we would do anything like that on purpose.
right, but
And
Yeah.
See why.
this is dated, but just as an example.
the
because-
Well, we
dated,
told him we wanted it today, so that's probably why he dated it.
yeah,
today.
we just wanted it for tonight's meeting to
To discuss.
go over it. Yes,
Yes, and then the other two is one that adds the $8,489, which is that 2% tax cap with
yeah,
the little bit of extra from the last 5 years. And then the third one is a blank one where we can, if we want to fill in any amount other than that.
right. There's 2 copies of the tax levy resolution. We don't need 2 copies. One has the blank space
Right. If
and
we
one
wanted,
has the 8,489 in it.
right.
okay.
The blank space is if we wanted to ask for an amount different than the 8489.
Right. The other resolution is to alert the school that there is a seat open in the spring. Robert has to submit that as a resolution to them too, and he's provided that. In my my,
I think we have that one here. and
it is there. Isn't the seat there also?
Mhm.
It should all be right there. And that put together. It's the resolution and the petition and the instructions.
I'm trying to find it too.
Here it is.
Okay. Okay, yeah,
Gotcha.
gotcha. You got all those?
This is just letting the school know that we need a seat.
We need a seat up for, yeah.
And I do
whoever
know that
puts
last
seat.
year, Mary got on my case when she didn't have it. I think it was by the end of January, wanted it.
Yeah, which brings up the point that I've been pushing us based on a conversation with with Darcy and Michelle at school to say that we needed to get our budget in by the end of January. That was a conversation. It wasn't like I saw something on paper. I'm apparently an overeager trustee working to try to get things done on time, and we have time. We technically don't have to give school notice until 60 days in advance of the vote, which is April. There is no need for a referendum petition, that part of the process where we get 25 signatures saying that we're allowed to ask. We don't need that because we're a school district library. However, some school districts do require that, and Robert was going to do the conversation with the school to find out, to make sure we didn't need it, or if we did, we had it.
Okay.
We have not heard the results of that yet. I can actually I can send you this notes that I'm reading off of if you want. The deadline is mid-April. If we aim for March, we're in good shape. We were aiming for January, so we're in great shape. The school district will do the math for the personal cost, tax rate increase, the kind of thing where we can go, if someone asks a question, they can say, well, how much exactly are my taxes going up?
Right.
You know, it's gonna cost me another extra $2 a year in my taxes or whatever, but the school district should provide us with that tax
Robert
rate.
recommended that we let the school district do it.
Well, that they have to do it because they have all of the formulas for the different districts. We have 5 districts in the school district, so, and they're taxed at different rates and
5 towns in the school.
5 towns, yeah. So, they will be providing that for us, and that'll be information we're gonna want to be very informed about as we go out into the public.
Right. And the sooner that's the advantage of giving them the budget sooner, you know, the tax increase as we get that information.
Yes,
Hopefully Sooner.
yes. Now, I think we go on and then come back to all that, honestly, because you've got bills and stuff like that. So we'll come back to a deeper discussion of that when we get into the
This
business.
thing I want to add to that, because I know that whether or not to ask for an increase is on everyone's mind. I received something from Sal's earlier last week. It's a document they call Total You Saved for 2025. For our little library, and this is single use. Sign outs, renewals are not included in.
Yes,
Our little library saved our patrons $287,200.10 over the course of the year.
yeah,
That's what you're talking about is how much they save by borrowing a book as opposed
Instead
to
of buying it, or
Correct.
borrowing a movie
Correct.
instead of buying it.
yeah,
So, that is a little over 50% more than what the tax levy is. The tax levy is $190. And they saved an additional $97,200.10.
yeah.
So it's a pretty good return on their investment,
Sure.
is the point of that.
Yep. We did discuss with Robert other things as well. I've asked him very specifically to respond to some of the questions that were brought up on the ethics policy. And he is going to get back to me. But he has not yet on that. I did remind him of the 1.5 years we've waited again on
What was
the,
his reply there?
I will let you know.
Thank you.
So,
the
Make
year
sure-
and a half we waited on.
Put that in the minutes tonight, would
Could
you
you
please?
please finish your sentence? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
okay.
The 1.5 years we waited on the insurance question?
On the insurance, with the resolution of these claims that are somehow in limbo. I don't know how to phrase it, Maggie, because they're like
Mhm.
not really active, but they are not closed, and
Right.
there's paperwork that needs to be.
You just have to reach legal
Yeah,
resolution,
yeah,
yeah. That's what-
yeah.
Limbo is a good word. I don't know how legal it is. but it's a
Limbo.
good word.
Okay,
And Robert said he'd get back to.
and he said he is working on that.
And he stated when we had our little conference here, Jansen, and I,
Yeah,
that he'd get right on it, let
Yeah.
us know by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And that was 5 months ago.
so I do believe, if I understand correctly, he feels like he has answered our questions and put our worries to rest in terms of our vulnerability to liability. I'm not gonna speak for
What
him, but
what about the money that he
that's
owes?
that's the part where I think, and maybe I need to,
When Ted and I had a discussion with him, it was $500 or $600. And we thought, well, maybe we can just waive it.
yeah,
When he talked to us, it was $3,000 to $5,000.
yeah, and,
So-
What, $3,000 to $5,000 for what?
that we would
That
get
the
back
library
when this is
paid,
resolved.
which we shouldn't have paid, the insurance company should have paid it.
Okay.
So it's
So,
money that's out there.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, but it's been ongoing way, way, way too long.
And I'll just keep asking, I guess, is what I can do.
Well, he's got away with it this long.
Yeah.
I feel that he's not gonna answer it. I truly don't think he'll answer this.
Well,
I know you feel different, Janice.
no, I don't know that I feel differently. I'm just, trying
Keep
to address getting it done. That's all. And I am not sure how to accomplish it being like.
The sad part of it is, until we get this documentation from an attorney, it's really hard to go out and shop to get sexual harassment molestation insurance.
However, I know you're right, you've been shopping, but he did mention that we didn't need it.
Yeah, I know.
And that's
That's what he,
frustrating
that's what
here.
he said.
Like, yeah,
okay? And then I got it. That he said it'd be a good idea to have it.
okay.
And anybody that I talk to say that we are absolutely crazy not to have it.
And the climate.
Well, he mentioned, and this is from memory, way back from our conversation, so please forgive me if I've messed it up somehow. But he mentioned that we are covered under some other title,
Mhm.
which is how the other claims were handled. And the title of the kind of insurance
But that
escapes
is
me now.
for us employees,
Right, but it's not,
not for general public
General
that comes in
public.
here.
gotcha.
Then comes us.
So
Okay.
I guess, and I know I'm just, okay. Do you feel like you need to have him physically present here?
No,
Would that be a helpful?
you know what? I don't even want to see the guy. That's how upset I am with it.
Okay,
I'm sick of them lying to us. This has been ongoing forever. And I just, it's just totally wrong,
okay,
totally wrong.
all right,
If he told me it was dark outside, I don't think I could believe him. That's the sad part of this individual. I know he's an attorney. I know he's trying to represent us. I don't know. I'm sorry.
okay. No, you don't need to apologize. I'm just trying to, I definitely want you to feel at peace. I want all of us to be in the right place, do the right thing. And I also want to communicate in a way
Well,
that is
I'll be
effective.
honest with you. I won't feel at peace until we do have this insurance under our belt. The way the world is today,
Okay,
the way that things could happen instantly.
Yeah.
Without this,
gotcha.
it's wrong.
Okay,
I've shopped. I can get us a policy,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to get this clarified, so maybe they'll give us a better rate.
right,
I got a company that'll write us tomorrow, but it's more than we can afford.
okay. All right, so that is still lingering.
Yep.
And
All right, thank
I
you.
do hear you. I did also ask him, I said, I would like to know, I asked Ree Gardner if she knew, I've been trying to find out, I'm like, where did the CDs that we have, where did they come from? Like, how did they come to exist? Because that makes a difference in going forward.
Well, part of that money was rolled into CD when the transition came over.
He did explain that.
Okay, that's, as far as I can figure out, that's where it came from.
Okay.
And we did have 3
Right,
at one time. And he spent one of them,
On the roof, right?
yeah.
okay. I just wanted to double check that there wasn't any kind of earmark on anything that said this is
I
for
have-
this.
I have not come across any.
And he said he has all that documentation. And he's gonna let me know. So,
That's good.
all right. That's just all of the president's report, and we'll come back to discussing that in greater depth later. So I'm gonna hand it over to you, Colin.
Okay, in front of you tonight, you'll see some figures. I tried to explain it maybe a little better for us. And our CDs, as you can see, are there. We've got our 190, that's why I posted it there. We got it, and went in on the 23rd. 190,000, okay?
Mhm.
So that's added into our interest-bearing checking account.
Uh-huh.
Where we stand, okay?
Yep.
Now, after tonight's meeting, I've got to take 15,000 out of that to put in our regular operating account, okay? So that's gonna bring us up, as you can see, down to the bottom, 17,491.07. Then our interest bearing is gonna be 266, as you can see. Now, what I did is way to the bottom. From now of February 1 to June, which is the end of our fiscal year, the way this is set up. The figure you see there, 76,807, that's what we got left to get through to the end of June.
To the end of June.
Correct.
Okay,
And that's not gonna come close to making it. So I'm just letting the board know as we go.
okay.
So I'm just trying to show you, so instead of leaving it all up here in the big one, and then we say, holy man, we got into the 190. Follow me?
right,
That's why I did it that way.
okay. I'm trying to get.
Anybody got any questions on that?
So the 15,000 is coming out of the 281,807.
That's correct.
And that is going down to create the 17,491.
Yeah,
Is the 17,000 is once 15,000 is added in,
that is
correct?
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
um,
The next line down is what's gonna be left in our,
so then that's the 281 minus 15,000
That is
is
correct.
266.
Mhm.
And then, why is the 76 not gonna cover it until June?
well, you got all February, you got March, April, May, June, okay?
Mhm,
You got 5 months, all right?
yeah,
Our payroll alone is gonna be almost 50,000 of it.
okay,
Okay, so that's gonna give you about 26,000
yeah,
here and there, you know, I'm just putting some close
Okay.
figures together to
okay,
get us through for expenses. You know, that's heat and lights and whatever all comes along.
okay.
I mean, that's why I tried to break it down
No,
that way
yeah.
to make it.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Our bank CDs, you know, I just reinvested them, last month, as I made a statement. We're making around $600 on each one of them every 6 months. Just, I think I
Okay.
did that.
Okay,
So that's, that part of my report.
I think it just showcases the emergency in getting the budget balanced because we're gonna be completely expended before we know
For this year that we're in right now, you're saying, Josh,
it.
right?
Either this year or next year or. the
Right. No,
following
no, I
year.
agree.
Same,
I agree.
for sure.
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion, someone else accept it.
I will second Colin made the motion to
Mhm.
accept pay the bills and accept the account for the report. I will second that. All in favor?
All right,
Aye. Okay, secretaries, Evan. Marion?
Okay, you guys have it, in front of you, as usual, largely it is, statistics. Change order deposits, upcoming programs, past programmings and the, lovely chart that, Claire creates for us. And then it's broken down beyond that to who actually, you know, the number of people that showed up each individual programming. That you guys can read over, at your leisure and feel free with any question. News and update, I will be working on the annual report as soon as the state opens it up. Our report deadline has been extended. I don't know if some of you have heard Baker and Taylor, which is a book supplying company, has also supplied the platforms for submitting the annual report. They are out of business as of this month. So Sal's is working with the state to come up with a new platform. I just heard just before the meeting, which is why it's not on there, that the annual report party, it's not really a party, is scheduled for February 13th. That's an opportunity for me to go down to Sal's and pump out the report. I did that last year and found it very, very helpful. Just as a side note, over the last few days, I received a jury summons that I have to report on. Well, call the day before, you know, how it goes, and see if I have to show up on January 26th. And I'll keep you updated
Okay,
on that. And then, if it's at all possible, if we can get the wireless router mounted on the wall, I do have studs and screws. If I need to find a handyman for that, I can work on that. We received the $5,000 SALS grant, towards the construction. Part of that was, getting an ADA compliant bathroom sink. And nothing's been moved forward on that at this point in time. I guess Colin, you and I may need to get together and chat about that, how you wanna move forward with that.
Okay.
And then I did purchase a draft stopper for the bottom of the door upstairs. It's self-adhesive. If I understand it correctly, it should eliminate the gap to help keep the
Some
cold.
of the heat, yeah.
So I hope that will, so, yeah, nothing too eventful.
Okay,
In regards to that, brought that up in December. November, about getting a price on closing that off, going up the stairwell.
Mhm.
It's anywhere from $900 to $1,000 to close that off, put a door at the bottom of the stairwell to go upstairs. And then since then, I kind of thought maybe it wouldn't be quite as expensive and it might look just as good to petition it off with a very heavy curtain or drape, I should say,
so,
to draw across there
okay,
so the heat cannot go up that stairwell whatsoever. It'll keep it down here. And obviously, we've got a serious heat loss going upstairs because anytime there's any snow on this roof, it's off instantly because the heat's going up and melting it off. And because of that, on this wall out here where the gutter is, that we had to get cleaned out because it was obviously it was full from fall debris. Whoever shingled it didn't use what's known as Grace ice and water barrier underneath the shingles. It's backing up and it was leaking in our stairwell here. If we can stop some of the heat from going upstairs so the snow just melts slowly, I think it would help a lot on this lower roof level. So I'm just bringing that up or we can talk about it or whatever if you want more information. Because our heat expense, as you know, has been extremely cold.
yeah,
There's been times where we're using 20 gallons of oil a day here.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's sad.
Something in addition to that, because as you know, on the bill, we had, Mahoney out here because when we get a heavy wind, that door was triggering.
Tricky now.
He's also noticed that, I know you noticed at the base, but there's also, you can actually see outdoors across from the top. He pulled the shade down to try to cover it, but we have a gap.
Yeah,
I mean, you can take his recommendation with whatever, but his suggestion was to do away with the double glass door and install a new door that would be more energy efficient.
right.
I
we're
don't know
talking
how
about going
expensive.
outside,
The one at the exit door going out.
Yeah, because this one does not have a tight seal at all.
okay,
You can actually, if you lift the shade up and then the sun is shining, you can see outdoors
I'll
over the
try
top
to-
of it.
Try to address that to help this week. I'll see if I can get that,
So,
it's not as bad. Another thing, just wanted to throw it out there. I went to the Lake Luzerne Town Hall today and give them some data information on our power pole that's right out front here. That streetlight's been out now for almost 2 months. And it's right where our crosswalk is. And, I explained to them, this is a hazard.
yeah.
A little kid can come across there or an adult.
Mhm.
It's pitch dark when you go out front there, street lights out. So they assured me they would address and get right on it
Okay,
with National Grid,
okay.
so.
Can I add to that? When I went to the town hall for the meeting with Dane and Jim, James, I don't know how he goes, about the pathway, they brought, Gene Merlino joined us and he brought up that he did receive my email about fixing the fence out there and they have a call in. They have people that are supposed to be getting to fixing that fence out there.
Yeah, I know.
So I just wanted to let
They
you
might.
know. I had
Are
told
they
you that I
related to the
emailed.
lawyer?
I did. I-
Cause that was a serious issue.
Yeah, I know. Well, I had told you I emailed them and I did right away and I heard nothing and then, but they did say
Welcome to
that
the
they
real
had
world, right?
called and they were waiting on something from someone.
Yeah.
To fix that fence. So anyway. All right, thank you, Marion. So old and new business is gonna be rolled into conversations regarding our thoughts and ideas to deal with our budget. And then we do have an executive session at the end, to discuss the staff terms of employment.
So, just real quick on the budget, one other adjustment that was made is under bookkeeping. I reached out to, Tammy. Again, to find out what was going on, and she responded to me. She said the way things have been going over the past few months have been great. We've managed to cut down on the time we are spending on bookkeeping. If all goes the same in the future, this is the estimate for 2026-27. Bookkeeping would be 5,300 and payroll processing 2,200. QuickBooks is 921. They have no control over the QuickBooks, so the estimated total instead of 10,000 is $8,421. I know it's only about a $1,600 difference,
Yeah,
but it's a
every
$1,600.
penny, right, okay.
So that adjustment is also in this new draft. And, I took Hoopla out, but, I did get a statement from Jill that Libby for 525.41 is what our bill will be. We'll be getting that bill in February.
Mhm.
So we had budgeted significantly more for that this year. Apparently, our Libby bill was significantly higher because we had been shut down. So it was getting a lot more usage. So it's based on the community, size of the community we serve and the amount of books that are actually used. And that has gone down dramatically since we've reopened. So, I forget what it was last time.
So if I circle that, because that's less than what we had budgeted.
Right, we had
And you just
budgeted
said-
1,500 and it's gonna be 525.
Okay, and then the other thing you just mentioned was the
The,
Tammy's,
bookkeeping and payroll
Bookkeeping.
processing, I rolled that all into one, it's 8421.
and that's also less than what we had budgeted?
We had budgeted 10,000 for this year. But she said this is for the following, for the 26-27 year, that it would be the 8421.
Okay,
She did not say.
I'm
it was
just trying to
just
know
for this
where
year.
things are going down from what we thought they would be.
Yes, so we're heading in the right direction. I know it's not,
Yeah, right here,
I know it's not the cure, but
yes,
stepping in the right direction.
okay,
And then for the 26-27 year, the, yeah, the retirement Nicelers, we just paid the 15,407 for Nicelers for this year.
uh-huh,
Next year, I got it from the Nicelers website themselves, it's estimated to be $17,763.
so that,
That's going up, because
that went up,
that's according to payroll.
this,
It's the library's contribution.
Yep.
Towards it.
yes,
So those are, I mean, some of them are headed in the right direction, some not so much, but they are fixed.
okay. Why is the reserve funds red 14,187?
Because we put that in this year's budget, but to my knowledge, she has not actually added it into the year-to-date budget.
And I don't even know where that money is.
So,
I think it's smoke and mirrors.
Where was it? What,
well, we
I
did
don't
this,
understand
that budget we did with Ted.
That's right, and that's the big argument I got with Ted, for him to show me where that 14,000 is. And it isn't.
I don't think, he wasn't pulling it from the CDs, I think he was pulling it from what he thought was a cushion in our regular account, I'm confused about it
We do
too.
not have that money.
okay,
So that's why it's in red, because I don't know, that was put there, it hasn't been re-added to the budget. It was put on there to balance the budget.
It was put on there to balance the budget and it was going to be taken from
the
our,
CDs,
from
No.
the CDs or from our reserve, or
Right.
from our accounts in
From
some.
one of our accounts to
But,
help.
But that never
that
was
is
taken.
out of a CD then, that's an only account.
yeah, because we did that vocabulary thing last time where reserves are CDs.
Okay. Okay.
So
Right,
There's
I
no
don't think
reserve
Ted-
other than-
We never did take it.
I don't know where else you're gonna get it from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless he's gonna
But
give us a
if
donation.
the point is we didn't actually use it, then it's just
The smoke and
something
mirrors.
that was on a budget that we
But
didn't.
we didn't
use.
ever actually take it out of the CDs.
It's not, hasn't been taken out of nothing.
Okay, so we haven't
I
ever
don't-
actually used.
Personally, I don't think it should even be in that.
Okay, so we should get,
Oh, we approved that budget with that in there. That's what that first column is the
But
approved
so then-
budget.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually, if you really wanna look at it, that's. I guess I'd have to say that is how much we're gonna be over. This year.
Yeah,
Oh, so when we go back to, oh, you know what, I should take this up. Like your,
Is that the way you understood it, John?
yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of the way I understood it.
Yeah,
So-
that's the amount
so
we
that's-
I didn't understand a lot of his logic.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
it has nothing to do with this.
I think what she's talking about is this, is how you said this 76,807 is not gonna be enough. That this is the amount we're gonna be lacking above that.
It could very well be.
That's, okay.
Alright.
So this is connected to this.
Well, it is, but it isn't. I'm hoping, I just want to show us, I'd like to see us not use any of that, you know what I mean? To
Right,
draw out of the bank
Yeah.
CD. Because technically, our bank CDs is somewhat of our salvation of the interest we're making on it
yeah,
to keep us going, to keep us up to that 190 plus
yeah,
the interest of the CD and where I've got this 190, I just locked it into the best we can get it.
Yeah.
And who knows what in 6 months it's gonna be because the feds just dropped the interest rate. And so bank CDs just took a hit,
just dropped.
almost a point.
Mm,
So that's why when I was trying to judge for next year, how much I thought we would be able to contribute just in the interest money alone, I didn't think we'd probably get quite to 10,000 like we have been. So, all right,
Okay,
not to confuse things anymore than they are, but
okay. So I had the thought that, honoring the vote to balance the budget. I had the thought to make just as an idea, just throwing out an idea, to make the two CDs into one and have it be 50,000 but actually Robert said that in proportion to what our operating budget is, 50,000 is like a reasonable reserve CD safety amount. And that we would use some of that CD to balance the budget, which we promised to do, and ask for the increase. Then we would continue to know that we have to increase at the ballot box, ask for those increases kind of steadily to keep things running. And then if we're doing the fundraisers, which I'm happy to work on, but I want to make sure that that's what those fundraising efforts would replenish the CDs. That was something that I had thought that would be a way to approach this.
well, in regards to what the attorney stated, okay. There's a real good chance this reserve fund that's in the red, 14,000, we may be taking that out of one of these, okay?
Okay,
So that's it's gonna bring us down to about 55,000 if you wanted to add the two of them together.
so
And
then,
that's why I tried to,
right, okay,
back when Ted was here and we all had these discussions, I did a longevity for the next 3 years. And I told him, in 3 years, we're gonna be out of money. It's sadly to say, the way things are going, because we're grabbing, you know what I mean?
okay,
Unfortunately, all of us board members right here, have stepped in. I'm not saying it's a good time or a bad time, but we're eating the mistakes that the previous board has made, serious mistakes.
Okay.
Uh,
so we're
I can,
here.
I can,
and-
I can sit here and show you the documentation. I mean, one quick example, the new roof. I got all of the 4 requests that I finally got. All the figures. Why they picked the highest one is beyond me.
Okay,
What a waste. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I
So
do.
now we're suffering when you
Yeah.
really want to think about it. And that's just one subject,
Right, so we can't change that at this point.
No, we can't.
But, okay, so.
but it's
going
hurt us.
forward, what do you suggest? I mean,
I know you're
have a
not going to want to
suggestion,
hear
but
what you're going to say, but I
No,
think
I want to hear what you have to
Okay.
say. What do you suggest? What do you think?
we got to cut payroll for one thing. I hate to say it,
Okay,
but we do. And I got nothing against the staff that works here. I think they do a great job,
Okay,
but I think we're overwhelmed. We did spend $112,000 on the best security system we could get our hands on, okay? To alleviate, in my eyes, some of the staff that we need here, because if the security system can't do it and nobody feels safe, then we might as well close the doors. I mean, we spent probably over 12,000 in our security system here. Okay, so when somebody walks in there, now we know who it is, okay? I'm not telling you it's 100% bulletproof. But that was part of the reason that we did it, to be honest with you. At least that's the way I understood it, you know? And, you know,
so I hear you.
I mean, if you wanna do the numbers, our staff, what we're paying now is around $150,000, maybe a little bit more than that. And we're only getting 190. This place can't operate on 40 plus
Yeah,
what little bit of dividends we get free.
Okay.
You know, so to speak.
The typical recommended, percentage of payroll versus tax revenue is 40 to 60%. We're currently at 79. And if we have an increase in tax levy, it would be 76%. So we are extremely heavy on payroll right now. That is the area that's gonna have to be cut. That's what I mentioned at the last budget meeting. The 2-person rule, completely unsustainable. It will tank this place.
so
Yeah.
that always was the argument at school too, the school budget with the, cause the payroll is the teachers and their,
Yeah.
Their benefits and whatnot. I am not just saying that that's wrong, but I personally, I'm just gonna speak personally, would want to try other things first. Like, these are human beings and that's their income, their livelihood, and I wouldn't want that to happen to my family. I wouldn't want to do it to theirs. And so I would first, like I just proposed, really take from those CDs, try to replenish the CDs, at least give ourselves another year to say, because we did promise we would balance it this year, but we're very open-eyed. We're talking honestly about the difficulties, and I would do that first, knowing that if that doesn't work, if we don't raise the money, if we don't replenish the CDs, then we have that conversation. I wouldn't
No,
feel
I'm
good.
not, I'm not
about
arguing that
doing that,
situation.
yeah.
I understand wholeheartedly, but if you wanna know black and white, that's what's showing, it's black and
no,
white.
Well,
I understand that.
there's another side to that. I still have to sit down and chat with the girls, but I asked them to each do, a self-reflection. And one of the things that came out on both parties is they're feeling very overwhelmed. And so, in all honesty, in some way, I know it's not gonna happen, but it would almost be helpful to have a third person. Otherwise, we're gonna have to also scale back on programming and everything that the community, I hear over and over and over again, they love all the activity at the library, but we are finite resources.
We could accomplish that change with volunteers,
Mhm.
if we build that volunteer thing.
Yeah.
So we could accomplish that
We
That-
did,
that's
in a
essential.
different way.
Essential.
Yeah,
This-
So we
in
have
order
to
for
be
us
more aggressive.
Absolutely. With training, whatever it takes to get people where you're comfortable, we have to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that is very, very important.
yeah,
But, to what you said, Janice, about waiting till next year, once again, we cannot budget based on fundraising. And so the numbers likely will actually be worse if we wait another year.
right. It's different than budgeting based on fundraising. It's, we're taking from the reserves. Now, the fundraising, like, we're gonna keep 50,000, but we've got to take from the reserves to not cut payroll. And then we have work cut out for us to replenish that. If not, you don't take any more next year. That's when you have that conversation, is what I'm saying.
So here's my thought on this. Our fiduciary responsibilities to the people of this tax district, it's not to the employees of this library. Our responsibility is to them. And so the employees are very valuable. They've done terrific. I respect them and really appreciate them. but we have to understand where our loyalty lies and what our responsibility is as trustees, and it is to the people of this tax district.
Robert made a good point, and when he said, whatever you feel, whatever you, and I don't disagree that, well, I have mixed loyalties. I do have the loyalties to the people that elected me, some of them that didn't elect me, whatever. I do want to do that good job for that. But I also feel very responsible for human beings that are employed and also have whatever they have in their lives that they need their income and whatever as well. And they've worked and given a lot of time to this library. So that is a loyalty as well. But what Robert said that I thought was a good point was before you assume, like you have to let the electorate vote. You have to let them have their say on that. So we can go to them and say, we have to cut staff, we have to cut hours. No, we don't say that. Well, how did he phrase it? He said, so if they vote no, then you have to respect
He
that they
said
voted
that-
no, but if they vote yes,
Present it to them. Do you like what the library is doing?
yeah,
If you do, we need X number of dollars to keep doing this over and above what we're already
Yeah.
doing.
and let them have their say. Like if we go and ask for more, perhaps than the 8,049,
The 84.9.
is that the cap of what we can ask for?
No, we can ask for more. That is what Tammy worked out with the state comptroller to be the top, the 2% cap.
Yeah,
Plus it's like a 1 point something that we can do
yeah,
from the last 5 years because we haven't. It's all broken down. I gave you the packet.
but we do,
What I'm reading the packet contradicts that, though. There's only two reasons you can increase the tax levy. One, for if you're getting sued, and another, it's stated in here, so I would need to talk to Robert or someone to understand that, because it's pretty clearly stated here.
he did not say that. He said that we
Well-
could go and that the actual responsibility we have to the electorate is to give them the say by putting it out there. Now, if they say no, then we go back to the original tax levy. We know that the majority has said no. But for us to decide before we've given them the chance to vote, then we've taken away that power
If we
from them.
don't
and I
ask
don't-
That's
That's
a
not,
fancy pants way of pushing our responsibility onto the people, and they've elected us to take that
I
responsibility.
don't agree. I think that they get to say
That
at the
part.
ballot box what they want and what they
They
don't.
said that when they elected us. We have a responsibility to take care of business, and we're passing the
And
buck.
no, I don't think so. I
We
don't
have
agree with that.
consistently.
I think
That's why
that
we're red like this.
we're taking that responsibility and trying to be transparent, offer back to them our efforts, our ideas, our thoughts, and see what they think about them. Because otherwise, we don't give them a chance to say, oh, you know what, I really would like to have that. We've decided instead of them.
But I don't know, it's a little bit disgusting to me to go to the taxpayer and say, hey, we didn't want to balance our budget, so please give us an increase. And then next year, we don't want to balance our budget then, so please give us another tax
No
increase.
budget is sustainable without
That's
an
exactly
increase.
what you're doing.
That's not the,
But
that's not
but
exactly.
some of our costs are obviously going up, our payroll goes up, different costs go up. It's people's budgets go up every year. Most people get raises every year
True.
to cover
Yes.
at least a portion of cost of living increases.
But
So I don't think that
at current
that's,
condition, we are so unsustainable
right,
that catching up will take 5, 6, 7, 8
Oh, yeah.
years. We have so much cutting to do that it's irresponsible for us to just walk up and say, hey, it's up to you guys, you get to decide.
I don't
And to think that that's,
I think there are two things going on. One thing is we have to make cuts in this budget because it's not sustainable.
Mhm.
And another thing is we can ask the taxpayers if they want to support us by increasing our budget. That's not going to solve our problem.
Mhm.
It's just another thing. As we cut different aspects, we cut small here, cut here, cut here, cut here, look for more revenue here, here, and here. Those things are not mutually exclusive. We can do both of those things responsibly and logically.
they don't have to be, but if we use manipulative terminology, then I'm not in favor of it. And
I don't think we're
I
using
think people
manipulative
can,
terminology.
I think what she said, Robert communicated as a strategy, I think that's
It
manipulative.
wasn't a
No, it's a
strategy.
strategy.
It was
It is a
just saying,
strategy.
well,
It's a strategy to not
you're
take responsibility.
mischaracterizing my voice when you say I don't want to balance the budget, because I do. I want to create a library. I want to be responsible with the tax base. I want to take care of the people in the library. I want to take care of the services in the library. I want to balance the budget. It is not a one and done kind of conversation or even fix.
Or an either or.
Or an either or. It's just that,
So here's ultimately the situation. Numbers are black and white and emotions create gray. Numbers will always remain black and white and emotions always just complicate it. So the numbers will remain black and white. And when we have to shut the doors and turn the lights off and never open again, it will be because we paid attention to the gray and not the black and
Well, the
white.
thing is you're right
You
with
can't
the
ignore
numbers being black and white, and the numbers are, the expenses has continually gone up over the last 5 years, exponentially after the COVID pandemic.
No one's disagreeing with
And,
that.
but the income has not gone up at all. That's a problem. Those are numbers, you're right, the numbers don't lie.
So we
But
increase
no
the
budget.
tax levy, does that solve the problem?
It helps, no,
Doesn't.
it should have been being asked for the last
Doesn't.
5 years. Every year it should have been asked. My budget at home isn't sustainable without an increase every year.
And
I don't think anybody's is.
that's, we're not saying we're asking for an increase and we're not gonna do any cuts. We're saying we need to do cuts. And we need to also ask if people wanna do an increase.
You guys are framing it like I'm being unreasonable here.
No,
And
you're
that's
framing it like
consistently,
we're being unreasonable.
that, what she just said is unreasonable, that we're gonna take from the reserves, even though we have been so bloated in our spending that we've consistently pulled from reserves. We're gonna put ourselves in a spot where we're not gonna have any reserves to pull from if we continuously do that, because we wanna emotionally be attached to employees, so we're gonna pull from our reserves and hope that we can get fundraising that's gonna be consistent enough to where we can replenish the reserves. It is an unsustainable, very feeble, kind of plan.
I don't want a blank check from the reserves to just take whatever we end up spending. I want to take an amount. I want to keep an amount. I want to then work to restore that amount. And I know you can't predict that or say whether it's going to happen, but I will work hard to do it. That's different, I think, than just willy-nilly saying,
No, because you can't guarantee the amount.
I can't guarantee the amount. I can't guarantee anything. I can't
can
guarantee
guarantee-
tomorrow.
We can guarantee these numbers. That's what we can guarantee.
Yeah.
You wanna deal with unreliable in a reliable situation, and that doesn't work. That's why we can't use fundraising as a means to replenish our reserves. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
do-
I think part of the big problem that we're having is Colin brought up earlier about how we are paying for the sins of the past leadership. Is not only did they misappropriate funds, but they also did not do anything to keep the revenue increasing. There hasn't been any fundraising done. There hasn't been an ask for a tax increase. Nothing has been done to increase the financial stability of the library either. And it's twofold. It's not just cut us till we bleed, but there also has to be an increase. It's a balance.
I think
And
that
there hasn't been any increase in income in 5 years. No budget is
at
sustainable.
least 2 of those years, the public would have said absolutely not. You're not getting a penny.
That's very possible.
You
I
didn't
wasn't
let the
the president
public
then,
speak for the
but
public,
The whole, I
Josh.
think the public did speak, and I think
Well,
they'll speak again.
They did, and they can again, and they can do it as many times as they want, and I will respect what they say. But we do need to listen to the public, and we do need to provide them with what we're thinking and what we've worked on, and then we need to let them have that say. Just because I was, you know what, I was voted in, maybe somebody voted for me and then later on said, oh, I don't really care for the way that she's doing this, I wouldn't vote for her again. Public can change their mind. They can have different different priorities than me. I need to continually go back to them and say, I need to listen to them and I need to present to them and be transparent to them and then honor those votes. But I can't sit here and speak for, even if I've talked to a lot of people in town, I can't say I speak for them unless I've allowed them to cast their vote and a ballot box.
See, it's very, in today's world, it's very difficult to make very much money in fundraising for all the effort and time that you're gonna put in. And that's sad, but that's the way it is today.
Okay,
So this event that you've been talking about doing up here,
Yeah.
whatever. Alright, so you make 1,000. Just throwing it out there,
Okay,
okay, and you come back and say, here's 1,000 column, put in the account. Okay. But we took out 15, so where's the other 14, you know what I mean, and we just keep
So-
dipping back, that's all I'm saying.
No,
It's difficult.
right, and if that was the case, I would say, you know what, I learned. But I haven't had a chance to try.
I know, and
So like,
I'm
I-
excited that you wanna try
I
it,
think
but
that
I'm
1
not
year
trying to-
is what I'm asking for, where we take to make sure it's balanced, an amount that is not excessive. You give me a chance to try, and I don't just mean me, I know more than I would work on it. But you give us a chance to do, and if it is a flop, if it is unsuccessful,
I'm
then
not
we have
saying,
another year where we say, that's not gonna be how we go about this, we learn.
I'm not saying it's gonna be a flop, I'm just saying for the amount of ambition that you and whoever else is gonna do it,
Mhm.
will be sad for all the time you put in it, that's all I'm saying, you know what I mean?
I would-
And I'm
I
not
would
trying to
just like an
discourage what you're doing,
opportunity to
I'm all
prove you
happy.
That's all.
You know what I mean?
Regardless of the situation, we're just kicking the can, right? Because whatever the fundraiser might be, these things do happen. I have seen people be very effective at fundraising. You see PTAs that are excellent when they have people at the helm. But those things leave with the person and then everything crumbles afterward too. And so we are literally just kicking the can. And the problem with that thought process is what I go back to for what I said to the last budget, is the fact that it's completely unsustainable. It's irresponsible. And what we're handing over to the next board is an irresponsible budget that is completely unsustainable and reliant on Janus Waterhouse making $52,000 a year in some fundraiser that we haven't thought about yet.
Wait, I'm definitely somewhere in between the two of you if I'm successful at all.
Well,
But,
you know.
look, okay, I'm just asking for a chance for 1 year. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking, you may be right, Josh, you may be right, and I may say, well, I certainly am not earning enough, and this isn't a system that I've created that can be handled by, nobody else wants to do it. And then all of the conversations all the points that you've brought up are still valid points and can still be revisited. I'm just saying that, and it is in my heart, so whether that's valid or not, in my heart, I wouldn't take away any payroll from any staff in this building before I had a chance to try.
So are your priorities payroll or books? Because we're gonna have to make that decision at some point.
My
Are your
priority
priorities
is,
payroll or being in sales?
that's oversimplifying. My priority is this library thriving. And if payroll was what we were just talking about, that's why I'm just talking about that. If I can save no cuts to payroll for this staff, great. The whole budget is involved, right? But we were just talking about payroll. That's why I brought that up.
But 80% of our 80% of our tax revenue is payroll. That in and of itself is wrong.
See, that's what I
It's not
brought
responsible.
up last month.
Mhm.
This $5,000 grant that we get for arts painting. Why can't we have one of our employees get qualified to do that? And that part of that money could go into payroll to pay this
So you're
individual,
saying
say
it's
3
like
hours.
becoming payroll, but in order to do that, it would have to qualify for the grant. In order to do that, it would have to be something that an employee would have the time and
To get
perhaps
certified?
resources, because sometimes it pays, you have to pay to get that training or whatever
I
that.
just, that's why,
I don't know.
that's why I brought it up, I'm just
Well,
trying.
I mean, it's an idea, but I don't
No,
know
Well,
that
I mean,
they,
I'm not guaranteed the grant.
right.
And when I apply for the grant, I can do up to, for LARAC specifically, this year it was up to 3 programs. And I had to submit resumes and samples of their work, for each of the 3 programs that I want to do. And I know we discussed last month that if the LARAC grant doesn't happen, that these paid programs will not happen. That being said, if we're going to continue any kind of programming, we do need something of a budget. I mean, buying crafting supplies, and a lot of stuff we do is in-house. And Taylor puts a lot of time and effort into that. And she works 26 hours a week And there's times I really wish I could have her another 4 or 5 hours a week because there's just not enough time in the week for her to do everything that she really needs to do. So we've already started conversations about just having to scale back a little bit because there's just not enough of us to go around at our current rate of hours worked.
So. Did you get a chance to say what you need to say or what you're thinking? Because I was gonna try to sum up what I think everybody's saying, just to make sure I'm hearing everyone.
Yeah, the only thing I was saying is that it's not one thing or another. We need to make cuts. And we need to also ask for, whether people want to vote for an increase. I think we need to put that before the voters, as you said, and let them decide. But we also, that's not going to take care of our problem. We also
No.
need to make cuts.
Yeah, this is a never ending job.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to cut staff either, but it is a massive part of our budget, and I don't want to cut hours that the library's open. We only have 3 extra hours that the library's open from what we are required to do. We're open, what, 38?
We're open 38 hours.
And we're required to be open at least 35. So it's not like there's a lot of, it's not like we say, oh, we have to close another day. We don't have that.
Okay, so. Josh is, I'm pretty sure that I heard and understand that you're saying the percentage of the budget that is payroll is beyond what
Sustainable.
you're comfortable with and what you think is correct and responsible. So you would look at payroll first.
Mhm.
I'm coming back to you because you just said a bunch of different little things. You're saying that we need to protect a lot of the CD, not to whittle it down too much, and that we have to, and I know the part about the past, but I'm not gonna bring that up because we can't change that now, but, and you're asking for ways to pay the staff to do things that we would normally pay outside people for as a
As part of-
Idea?
As a part of their salary.
as a part of their salary.
You know, for example, one of the staff paints for 3 hours. Well, that's part of their 8-hour shift. So we're not paying this person $250 to come in here and paint
Okay,
for 1 hour. You
okay,
see what I'm saying?
okay,
I'm just trying to
yep,
utilize this money
yep,
in a more protective way for our employees. I
Okay.
guess, if we're gonna try to keep these employees, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
So that would save programming money.
yeah, it
By
would pay,
using the
well, it
staff.
take, yeah, you know, and I'm not picking on or
No, I'm.
antagonizing anybody that comes in here and does something.
Mhm.
But if we can get 3 hours for one of our staff to paint or draw or tell stories, instead of paying somebody else to come in there and do it,
mhm,
we're way ahead of the game.
okay,
You know, I mean, some of these people that come in here, they might be 10 times qualified. I'm not denying that, but
So
let's
would-
try to,
So what that does is that takes programming costs out of the budget, but didn't you already leave a blank on that?
I did, but what I did was, my understanding of what I was asked to do last month is take the painting classes and any paid programming out. And that they would happen only if I got the LARAC grant. I've
okay,
already applied for it. I can't change that for
Yeah.
next year.
yeah,
I mean, if we decided to go that route again, it would be the 27-28 fiscal year.
yes,
And, I could have Taylor do a resume and what she's gonna do. I don't know if we're gonna prove it. I actually asked Larry, can we just apply for some crafting supplies for my
and they
staff to
said
do?
no,
And they
they
said
want
no.
you to hire people, right?
They want me to hire people. They want us,
So the grant probably won't to cover that,
no.
but it would be,
Right,
In relation
the
to
grant
paint,
specific,
uh,
but I mean, the staff already does a lot of the program.
Yes,
But if we were, if Colin's idea of using staff-only programs would save 10,000, is that right? This is the 10,000.
Yeah.
no, that 5,000 of that $10,000 that's budgeted for this year is grant money.
Okay, so it would only save us $5,000.
$5,000.
Well, that $5,000 is in-house programming.
Okay, that's what I'm,
Well, no, I spent 1,000 of that was,
Okay, what I'm asking is, if we spent no money for outside programming. As this budget is, that's only saving us that's saving us $5,800.
If, yes, it would.
That's my question.
right?
Now, put that together with your comment that people are feeling overwhelmed. So in order to solve that, if that were to be accomplished, we definitely need to get aggressive in the volunteers thing. So we're gonna,
But what
That's
I'm
like a
saying,
thing,
if
that'll
we
save
have-
us-
if there is no money in the programming budget.
Yeah.
That means we're not purchasing craft supplies for crafts. That means the tea station goes away that everybody enjoys. That means teen game night is no more because there's no money to buy pizza and ice cream.
Mhm.
Well, you could play games.
I know,
You
but,
wouldn't need pizza and ice cream,
okay,
right?
you don't understand. I don't know if Janice shared the
I
letter.
did
with you.
share the letter with you.
We tried,
I've seen it. I've seen it.
okay, they got very upset. They got,
Well,
that the pizza went
Play
away.
games at your house then, you know, like,
No,
at some
no,
point, we
I
have to make
just,
sense of this.
I understand
You
what you're
shouldn't be
saying.
buying pizza and ice cream for people on the taxpayer dime anyway. That's ridiculous.
There,
Like, we have to be responsible. These are taxpayer dollars. We're having conversations about deficits that are astronomical, and we're having a conversation right now about pizza and ice cream.
I'm just
Do you
telling you that
understand how
that's
crazy
something.
that is?
Well-
It's bizarre. It is just absolutely bizarre.
Well, I don't know if you run a youth group or not, but
I
they,
have ran plenty.
who tends to
Actually,
bring the
plenty.
teens in?
how do you
It
feed them? Do
doesn't,
you feed them?
our intention is not to, do they eat at their house?
No,
The-
I'm just.
What,
asking you
what
to
is the
do that.
mission of a library? Is it to feed teenagers or is it to have books provided for people in the community?
If it's.
We have to
bring people
focus on
who
our
build
priorities
communities
as a
and they
library.
come
It can
because they
be-
We're
love to get
losing sight
pizza.
of what we're all about.
It
And
can be-
that's the real problem here.
It can be both, Josh,
No, it
because, yes, it can,
No.
because we live in a community where there is a lot of economic depression.
Then why would we think that it's appropriate to ask for an increase in tax revenue? I despise when people say that. They want to talk about how poor this community is, and yet we want to ask for an increase in tax revenue. If we truly believe that, we would be figuring out a way to not ask for an increase in tax revenue. We don't believe that. We say it when it's convenient, and then we tell them, we're gonna tax you more
Well,
money.
I think.
That
there's
is not
some that-
appropriate.
I think it's part of like building community and, you know, just providing, it's like hosting something at your house. The
But
teens are
they're
coming
paying
here,
for it.
they're, what's that?
The same people that are coming are paying for it, though. As much as we don't want to
They pay
notice that. they are.
taxes too, so they've paid for that pizza, right? People that don't come for the pizza have paid for it and don't come and use it, but the people that come have paid the taxes that are getting pizza. I'll pay for the pizza if you need pizza and take it out of the budget. I did.
I
did, and I will.
we did talk about getting donations.
Donations,
Pizza,
yeah.
and so there are other things, like if it's pizza and ice cream, we can look for donations for pizza and ice cream.
Mhm.
It.
Yeah.
The point is that even if we do all of these things and look for donations for pizza and ice cream and have staff do all of the programming, we've just
We're
saved
still-
$5,800.
Yeah, we
And
still have
we
the
need to
problem.
add all of these things up, but
Mhm.
that's what we've saved too.
Okay. Does everybody feel like they've had a say about the concern about the budget or a suggestion toward the budget? Because we're not voting on it tonight. We're just expressing so that we can.
So maybe what we need to do is, next time when we talk about this, is have some concrete numbers, if the numbers are about saving pizza money, or if the numbers are about how many hours would we need to cut? Or how many, we need specifics. We can't just do this abstract, like we need, we need
Definitely.
stuff. So we need to, if we could come back with specific numbers.
So we would need a layout of payroll numbers. We would need to know what cutting hours actually equates to, what all of that equates to. With retirement and with all those variables that are outlined under payroll.
Okay, so we'd need a breakdown.
So what do you want, a breakdown of the cost per employee per hour worked?
we'd need,
No,
we'd
you're
need,
gonna have to know retirement and you're gonna have to know it all. Right?
right, it would have to
You're
be,
gonna have, Tammy's gonna have to try to come up with a formula.
Not Tammy, payroll, Del Lorenzo payroll, will have to do that.
okay, so it would have to
Which is
be,
gonna cost us money to have them do that.
Yeah.
If we saved money because of the bookkeeping was being done by Marion Moore, and actually Beth has reached out to see if, because she's familiar with, what is she familiar with, QuickBooks or something?
Yeah.
That if she could do some of the payroll to save us money, but there was some issue with that.
Kim will be here at the end of this month and she's gonna talk with us more about that.
Mhm. So,
So we may have some more ideas after we talk with Kim. She's the new director of sales.
Mhm.
And, cause we've reached out to her about helping with bookkeeping costs and how to reduce that. And, Kim had some ideas. And we're gonna be chatting with her.
but if we ask Di Lorenzo to do that, we've spent money to figure out how to save money.
Right, but it's worth it.
We
If
would have
if
to
we
be-
wanna have a budget, we have to have those numbers.
and if we need to have a logical talk about it, we can't just talk in abstracts about, oh, we need to cut, we need to see what
How long?
would
before
happen with what, if,
You're gonna-
you know,
We
what,
can't, we can't do it by like overall. And then let them
Which
figure
one?
out how to break it down after.
Countertop at Mark Morgan was.
you mean just to say, we need to cut this percentage?
Yes,
I will have to double check. I'm not sure.
which
It'll be
doesn't cost
after
money.
the deadline.
I'm not gonna vote for that anyway, so I'm
The
just,
sounds
that's
like
what,
an
but,
ask for an
I'm gonna
extension
vote no on that, but,
On that.
Sales.
but if we just had a percentage, that at least doesn't cost us money to get to the point where we're trying to make.
I
it.
can
We
ask
could
for an
start
extension,
by
because a big
saying
portion of that was to cover.
that this is a percentage that we would need to cut and
I
then
just want.
work, and then see how we could achieve that.
I mean, we've done
Before
some
we
of the
spend the
work,
money,
well, you've
that's
done
what I'm
it
saying.
with getting
Yeah.
rid of the speed bumps. And then the other part of it was the sink.
Marion, I'm sorry,
That's
but
okay.
we just said over here. Okay. I think before you reach out to Di Lorenzo and ask him to do something that we're gonna pay for to decide how we save the budget, we could just in-house say, okay, if we cut the payroll by X%, what would that look like? And if it's voted to do that, then they can figure out the ins and outs of it. Does that make sense?
I think you're gonna have a hard and fast firestorm. They might be able to give us a more of a recommended, like, if you wanna keep both employees other than the director, this is how you could formulate that and get hours where you need them to get. If you do it this way, where you cut it to a number, then it's just a firestorm of, oh no, like, we're almost done with the year and we've already capped out, and how do we place these people? It would be a lot more effective. And it would be a lot more fair to the employees if we actually had a breakdown for each employee and we could actually come to the terms with those numbers.
So you want to break down per employee?
It would be per individual based
I
on
don't want
their
that.
income and all those kinds of things.
So here's the thing, we're having a conversation, people want different things. We haven't had any vote or at all, but I don't want to spend money before we've come to the agreement that that's the direction we're going. And we are missing a board member, perhaps even,
So you will not achieve a balanced budget without cutting payroll.
Right, but if
It
we,
will not happen.
I just need more time. We have time and we have everybody's feeling. And I know you feel strongly about that.
and we could still
So,
look at some percentage options before we're spending money on this.
yeah.
So we could
Mhm.
at least have some ideas and perhaps come up with some other ideas of other places that we could cut so that we didn't have to cut payroll
Mhm.
if that is our decision.
Mhm.
Just with the essentials, without any of the sales stuff, I'm looking at I worked off the original that we said we're gonna work off.
Mhm.
Without any bookkeeping, without any book purchasing and those kinds of things, we're left with $3,000 we're just paying for the essentials.
Mhm.
And that's the only way we have a balanced budget. If we don't
That's
spend
with the increase.
3,000, no, that's without the increase. So with the increase, you would add, what is it,
How do you
$9,000?
get a $3,000?
Because you have 41,305 for all the essentials, and then you have 164,763 for payroll. And that comes out to $206,068, and that leaves a remainder of $3,281 to actually spend that this library can use, because we're so payroll heavy.
So you took bookkeeping out of the budget as well?
Bookkeeping is not even included in those essentials. I got so high in that number that I said, I'm just gonna stop there because that illustrates this enough. And bookkeeping is there, and then you wouldn't be purchasing a single book, but you'd have to figure out how to spend $3,000 to tackle all of those things.
Hmm. Okay. So. I'm thankful we have time.
So we're going to next discuss this at our next board meeting, or we having a?
Yeah, but we need to know, like, every time we say that, I wanna make sure that we're making progress towards something instead of just circling same things.
Which is why we don't need concrete. What we need is concrete ideas of where we can cut and how much we can cut.
Yeah,
And so I know we can't get exactly, per person hour, but if we had percentage or something, what we would need to bring it down to be able to sustain the library.
no, just to throw out there, I don't wanna speak for anyone, but if you cut hours because we're being fiscally responsible, and then people leave because they need a job that pays them a certain amount, and we then have to close the library, have you been successful?
Well, that's part of what Colin is saying.
Yeah.
Do we need the two-person rule since we have the,
Well, even without a two-person rule, that's another way of cutting hours, right? Because that you
Right.
just don't have to, does that make sense? So if we say not the two-person rule for safety, because we have security, which allows us to say only one person can keep the library open. I see what you're saying.
I
I
understand.
see what you're saying in that.
I understand your conflict, but we really have to figure out as a board, because we have a specific responsibility as a board, what we are most loyal to, the library or the personnel. And we appreciate the personnel. We are so thankful for them and for their time and for all their efforts and all the things that we see before our eyes. But our allegiance needs to be to the library.
Mine is.
That is
That is
our responsibility.
There is no library.
With personnel at 80% of the operating budget, there will be no library. We have to make decisions that are hard, yes, but necessary, or else we will close the doors and we will not have a library. And it will be shame on each of our names because we wouldn't be responsible and make the decisions that had to be made. At the end of the day, these are not hard decisions.
Josh,
They're black and white.
agree with the things that you say and you don't agree with the things that I say, but I really wish you would, stop making it, if it went the way that I'm saying, it's shameful, and I just wish you would
If the
not
library closed
mischaracterize
because we
me.
wouldn't get responsible with the funds, that would be shameful. There would be shame on your name and there'd be shame on all
And
of our
if you
names.
cut hours and the
Absolutely.
employees walk and there's nobody here to run the library and it closes, that's not shameful?
It would
And
be.
you can say that it's easy to say.
We will not
because you're
operate
not
out of
affected.
fear. We will not be held hostage by anyone.
Right, but you
That,
can-
once again, is irresponsible. And so if the language is, we will all walk if you don't do exactly what we say, that is
That's not what I'm
irresponsible language.
saying.
And that's not a commitment to this library and to this community, like everyone's saying that they have.
They do.
And so
but-
you keep framing this in a very emotional kind of way, and that's not fair to anyone at this table, because this isn't an emotional topic. We are balancing a budget. There's no emotions
Right,
involved
you're
in that.
correct. We are
We're
balancing
black
the
and
budget for
white
the library,
numbers.
but each person sitting at this table and every person who works at this library has a budget at home that they also need to balance.
Which is
let me
completely
finish,
irrelevant to the
please.
library.
No,
Completely
it's
irrelevant.
not. Because as Janice said, if they need full-time work, I'm the person who does. Claire needs full
And what
time.
do people do when they get laid off? They go and find another job.
Exactly.
That is the
Thank you for
nature
making my
of
point.
life.
You
But
just made my
We
point.
cannot operate like this.
Josh, I just wish
We
we could.
cannot go in this direction. This is not feasible. This is not what responsible board members say. We do not say, well, we really value the people, so we're gonna continue at 80% of our tax revenue. That is not fair to the public. That 80% is being spent on payroll instead of programs or books or whatever we should be spending on.
I honor your strong feelings about this.
No, you
I
don't.
have different ones. I do, John.
No.
I'm trying to be respectful about, you feel one way, I feel another. I don't necessarily think that I'm just wrong because I feel a different way. You
This-
may be right.
this
I-
isn't a matter of
I'm
opinion.
asking, and I'm
Eventually you'll
being
realize that.
emotional.
This isn't a matter of opinion. This is a matter of numbers. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So opinions don't matter, emotions don't matter, numbers matter in these conversations. And all everyone keeps trying to do is bring a bunch of emotion into it, but at the end of the day, whether we sit here and we talk about pizza and ice cream, or we talk about employees and some sob story, at the end of the day, the numbers will still matter. And so we can sit here and waste hours and hours and hours and hours, but at the end of the day, we'll have a meeting where we say, okay, guys, this is the tough decision we have to make, because this is the responsible decision that we should have made all along. So I mean, you get to choose the direction of how long you want to draw this out. That's what this comes down to.
The sad
Actually,
part,
we each get a vote.
the
We each
sad
get a vote.
part here also is when you really wanna look at it, okay? So we ask for more money and we get it. It's still less than 200,000, okay?
Mhm,
Still not enough.
mhm.
We still have got to cut regardless,
I understand.
and cut heavy.
Mhm.
Because I showed Ted the numbers as much as he wanted to argue up and down with me. That in 4 years, this place is not even gonna exist. It's not.
Okay,
You can grab some from the CD. Yep, we're good for another year. Now we're gonna grab some more for the next year. In 4 years, that's all gone. The
okay.
interest is all gone. It's gone. I hate to say it. Even the 9,000 or whatever we might get if they vote, we get it, okay?
Mhm.
It's still not gonna balance the budget. Only because, I hate to say it, and I feel just like you do, Janice, about the staff. I'm not arguing it. I've been laid off. I know I had to go out the door and find another job. That's part of life. As much as you don't wanna understand it, it is. And I don't wanna see anybody have to walk out of here. But we're still gonna have to cut some things.
Here's one part that I want to be clear about. I think you all heard, I don't want anybody to walk out of here,
Right.
but I certainly don't want it to happen until we have tried other things.
Angles, I understand.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. I want to be given the chance to try and to see if there's a little bit more time to do that. But we are all gonna get a chance. We've said our piece, we have our ideas, we all get to vote our conscience. And then we will have to go with the majority of what the board decides. And I do believe that everyone on this board is equally loyal to the library and the constituents. And I believe that everyone on this board is doing the very best they can to do a good job responsibly. So. With that, are there public comments? No, you sure?
Thank you.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion. Is that clock right?
7:53.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Colin. you
Colin
second?
seconded it.
Second, if you want.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we
And
will,
we stated the reason earlier.
the staff terms of employment. And Marion will stay. But Claire, you get to go. We're not making any announcements, so I'm not really, well, I'm not.
Or you can stay and we can go
You
in the other
can
room.
stay and we can go in the
Oh,
team
yeah.
room.
You can go sit in the car. Actually, I brought the cards out.
Oh.
I just wanted to meet you to study.
Yes, we've adjourned, sorry.
Did I say adjourn?